trade union movement decided that some of us must go and form a political party so that we start fighting from the political front. And those people who were asked to do that were Gibson Spanda, Morgan Tsvangirai, Isaac Matongo, Dr Thokozani Khupe, Pauline Mpariwa, Isafu Mdlongwa, Mzengerere, and Makwaza. When women give birth, they're performing a national duty.
Hello Africa, and welcome to From the Horse's Mouth with Alistair Guerra. This is a She Glows Africa magazine production. As you all know, at She Glows Africa magazine, we celebrate women that are already making an impact across Africa. We're talking of politicians, entrepreneurs, business leaders, corporate leaders, etc., etc. And today, we have a politician, a leader, a woman of virtue. And this is none other than Dr Thokozani Khupe, the former Deputy Prime Minister, former Vice President of the MDC-T, currently a Member of Parliament representing CCC, also a Chairperson of Higher and Tertiary Education, Innovation, Science and Technology. Doctor, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
So, Doctor, is there any other portfolio that you carry that you might want Africa to know about you?
I do so many things.
Okay.
And as former Deputy Prime Minister during my tenure, I made sure that I fight for women's rights.
Okay.
And the issue that I was focusing mostly was the issue of maternal mortality, because I'd realized that many women were dying while giving birth. And then I was the goodwill ambassador on the campaign of accelerated reduction of maternal mortality in Africa, where we're saying no woman should die while giving birth. Because then in Zimbabwe, our maternal mortality was 620 per 100,000 live births, meaning that many women were dying while giving birth. But currently in Zimbabwe, our maternal mortality is around 363 per 100,000 live births, meaning that it has reduced a little bit, but still many women are dying while giving birth.
So are you still advocating for that?
I am still advocating for that, because we're saying when women give birth, they're performing a national duty. They are giving birth to presidents, to prime ministers, to members of parliament, to media personnel, to engineers, to doctors. And therefore, you cannot punish a woman who is performing a national duty by making them pay when they go to give birth. Hence, we're saying no woman will pay a cent when they go to give birth.
Wow.
They must just go to give birth in an environment which is conducive, because they are bringing life into this country. So we fought and we made sure that women would not pay a cent when they go to give birth. The other issue that I was running with was the issue of period poverty.
Wow.
Because girls lose a lot of days when they are in that time of the month. They lose about 5 days per month and 1 month per term, which is quite a lot. And once they lose those days, it means that they will not be able to cope with their schoolwork. And some of them end up not performing very well. And then people say women are not doing well in school, whereas that is not the case. And therefore we said sanitary wear must be available in every school, so that when girls need it, it must be available. So these are some of the issues that have been championed. And the other issue has to do with cancer. As you know, that I'm a person who is battling with cancer. I was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2011. I underwent treatment and I was fine, and it came back in 2023. And this time around it was a bit harsh. So I struggled a lot. I went to South Africa, I went to India. I ended up in the UK, which is where I'm being treated right now. But as you can see, with God's grace, I'm in good health. I'm still undergoing treatment, and these are some of the issues that I'm advocating. I am saying cancer treatment and care must be available here in Zimbabwe. It must be accessible here in Zimbabwe, and it must be affordable here in Zimbabwe. Hence the reason why we want to make sure that currently in Zimbabwe we've got 2 public hospitals which have got cancer units. That is Pararinyatwa and Pilo Hospital. And we're saying for starters, these two must be well equipped with state-of-the-art cancer equipment, and all cancer medicines must be available in these hospitals. And as members of parliament right now, our job is to make sure that we do awareness programs so that people are aware that there's this stage called cancer, because cancer is a rising epidemic. Yeah. If you try to do an analysis these days, any death which happens is cancer related. I've got so many relatives and friends who have passed on because of cancer. Not because they're supposed to, but because they didn't know. By the time they went to the hospital, their cancer was already advanced. And hence we're saying it is important that every Zimbabwean finds out that they have cancer. That is, if they have, when their cancer is still in its early stages. Because once cancer is discovered at its early stages, it's very easy and very cheap to treat. But once it is discovered late, it is very difficult, very complicated, and very expensive to treat. And which is the case with my cancer, thanks to government, because government supported me. Because if government had not supported me, I wouldn't have managed, because cancer costs are very expensive. And we are saying we must make sure in Zimbabwe that we have state-of-the-art cancer equipment, we've got all medicines. And we're saying we want our doctors, our researchers, our innovators to do research on new and modern cancer medicines in all cancers, so that when we do our awareness programs and when one walks into Mpilo or into Perignot, they must find machinery so that they've got an accurate diagnosis. Because once you have an accurate diagnosis, you are assured of having the right medication. I'm a living example, because initially my diagnosis was done here in Zimbabwe, and they said I had ovarian cancer, which had long gone. I went to South Africa. I did all the necessary tests, and they said I had ovarian cancer, which had long gone, and I started treatment. I've never been sick like that. I started vomiting, I had diarrhea, I was not eating. Some of you saw me the way I had lost weight. When I went for my inauguration first time around for my swearing-in ceremony, I was a moving grave. So then I went to India, because in South Africa, my doctor then said, I must come back to Zimbabwe so that I be under palliative care, meaning that they couldn't do anything. They tried everything. So I went to India, and in India, the same thing applied. I did all the other necessary tests. After that, they said it was ovarian cancer, and they started treatment. So I did 15 cycles of chemotherapy. I was doing chemotherapy every week, and I was draining 6 liters of water every week, because my stomach was filling with water. I was like a pregnant woman every week. They were draining water, 6 liters, 6.1, and the water kept on increasing. And then my doctor said I was not responding to treatment. And fortunately then, because it was my birthday when I was in India, and my son and my niece and my daughter had visited. So when I went to consult my doctor, I said, no, I would like to introduce you to my doctor. So I went with them into the consultation room, and I said, doctor, this is my son and this is my niece, they live in the UK. And the doctor said, you've got children in the UK? And I said, yes. And he said, no, you know what, here we have tried everything we can, but unfortunately you're not responding to treatment. So you'd rather go to the UK, because in UK they've got a variety of medicines and they do clinical trials. So when I went to the UK, I thought maybe I was going for clinical trials because my cancer was long gone and because they could not do anything. But then my sons ran around and they found a doctor and the hospital, and the doctor said, no, you're not a client for clinical trials. We'll try and help you. So I did all the necessary tests, and it discovered that it wasn't ovarian cancer. So I started treatment. I remember I drained water on the 22nd of December, and I started treatment on the 9th of January. After cycle number 4, the water I drained away, I started eating normally, and I started gaining weight. I remember when I was in India, I was weighing 68 kgs. Now I'm 95 kgs, meaning that I'm recovering very well. And I thank the Lord Almighty, because He has given me a second chance to live.
Wow, wow. Wow, what a story. Anyways, let's delve right into the main meal. Doc, do you think you were the rightful person to take over from Morgan Tsvangirai in the MDC-T?
First and foremost, I would like to say that I started my activism in the trade union movement together with Dr. Morgan Richard Tsvangirai, Gibson Spanda, and others, where we are fighting for a better life for workers where we're saying workers must have a decent job and a decent salary, where we're saying there must be equal work for equal pay, where we're saying there must be free maternity leave. And we fought for all those things. So in the process of us fighting for those things, we then realized that government was not cooperating. And then the trade union movement decided that some of us must go and form a political party so that we start fighting from the political front. And those people who were asked to do that were Gibson Spanda, Morgan Tsvangirai, Isaac Matongo, Dr Thokozani Khupe, Pauline Mpariwa, Isafu Mdlongwa, Mzengerere, and Makwazi. These and Gift Chimanikire. These were the people who were asked to go and form a political party. And we were the pioneers of forming a political party. We then invited women's groups, youth groups, students, and so that we form a formidable force. So this is how we started. So I am not somebody who just dropped, from a tree. I'm somebody who was well grounded from the trade union movement. So I formed the MDC. I did not join it like other people.
Wow. Doc, before we move on to the next question, I actually want to understand how regrouping is achievable. Is it achievable considering the fragmentation?
It is very achievable. If you are committed to doing something, you can always achieve it. Because what is needed right now is commitment. Our commitment is that we want to make sure that every Zimbabwean has a better life. And if we are really, really committed to that cause, it is important. Like I said, we must bury the hatchet, we must swallow our pride, we must come together and say, yes, both of us made mistakes. Let us admit we made mistakes, but let us start on a clean slate and move forward. It is very possible it can be done.
Yeah, that really makes sense in words.
And what people must understand is that it shouldn't be just about ourselves, because it's not just about me being a leader. It is about the 15 million Zimbabweans. I am a politician because I want to fight for the 15 million people in Zimbabwe so that they have a better life, so that they have jobs, so that they have food onto their tables, so that they have good hospitals, good schools, clean water and sanitation, electricity, so that they have every basic needs. This is what we are fighting for.
Indeed. You mentioned that you are a women's rights activist. At some point you fired Linda Masarira for wearing ZANU-PF regalia. But we also seen joining Pollard and was whining and dining with ZANU-PF. What happened and why did you do it?
Like I said, every political party has a constitution. And our constitution as MDC-T stipulates that if you associate with another political party, which is not your party, automatically you are no longer a member of that party. Okay. So this is exactly what happened. I did not fire anybody, but the constitution did. It's not me, it is the constitution. And then you're talking about Pollard. After elections, some of us said, elections have come and they have gone. Right now, collectively as Zimbabweans, we must come together to make sure that we all focus on the development trajectory. Hence the reason why we're part of Pollard. In Pollard, we're not negotiating for power. We're negotiating for a better life for every Zimbabwean. Because we said right now, what we want is for Zimbabweans to have jobs. And therefore, we must make sure that we hold government accountable for its actions. And you can only hold government accountable for its actions when you are in a certain grouping. So as Pollard, it was presidential candidates who contested in 2018. And we said, elections have come and gone, let's put them behind us. And as a collective, as Zimbabweans, let us all focus in one direction. That of making sure that we develop our country, that of making sure that the people of Zimbabwe have a better life. You can only do that if you sit together and keep check of each other to say, government, here you are doing well, but here, no, you're not doing well. We think that this is the direction that you need to do. So it was a forum where we're discussing about how to move the country forward. We're discussing about how to make the people of Zimbabweans' lives better. And that's basically what we're doing. We're not doing anything. And that's not joining ZANU-PF. We never joined ZANU-PF. I am not a ZANU-PF member. Right now, I'm a Citizens Coalition for Change member. But when I am in Parliament, I am advancing the interests of 15,000 people. 15 million people. I am not advancing my own interests. So whatever I do, I say, government, here you have done very well, but here, no, you're not doing very well. As it is right now, I am championing cancer issues. And I'm saying, as government, can you please make sure that you procure state-of-the-art equipment? And as we speak right now, government has allocated 30.8 million US dollars from the sugar tax, which the minister is deducting, so that it goes towards cancer issues. And they are now going to be procuring, equipment, and they are going to be procuring medicines so that anyone who has cancer in Zimbabwe has access to cancer treatment, so that they be well. So these are the issues we are championing. We are saying, let us make sure that we create an environment where investors will come and invest in this country. Because once they invest, they will create jobs. Our people will have a better life. That's all we're fighting for.
Yeah, I get that. While it's that, there is something that's been bothering me. There is a lot of division amongst the people of Zimbabwe. If you support Triple C, you're not supposed to be seen associating with a ZANU-PF member. If you support ZANU-PF, you're not supposed to be seen associating with a Triple C member or opposition members. How is that healthy in the political landscape?
I think what people must understand is that people must learn to come of age when it comes to politics, meaning that you must mature in politics. I think the way we used to do things ways back must be different from the way we're doing things this time around. Because we have realized that we are not fighting for ourselves. Both ZANU-PF and ourselves are fighting for the 15 million people. Yeah. Our cause is the same. There is no one who has got a different cause. Our cause is the same. We want people to have jobs. We want people to have, a good life. We want people to have, good schools, good health institutions. We want them to have good roads and. So we are all fighting for one cause. So why should we be fighting each other? Why should I be criticized when I am seen with a ZANU-PF person? I know people criticized as you went to the farm and. You know what? When something is good, people must learn to say, this one is good. Because if you go to that farm, the farming there is excellent. And I'm saying if everybody else was to copy from what is happening there, because they are leading by example as the first family. And they were saying if everybody was to do farming the way we are doing, yes, people will say, no, you need, to be supported because you need, infrastructure if you want to farm, like they are farming. And we are saying, yes, people need to be supported. We do understand very much. But there are some who already have these things. And you cannot be criticized for you being seen with somebody. We are saying we need to share ideas. We need to say both of us are fighting for one cause. And therefore, let's make sure that we share ideas on how we can better lives of Zimbabweans. I think it's important that we mature in politics. When elections come and they go, let us, all of us, put those elections behind us. And everybody else must focus towards the development trajectory.
Thank you, Doc. Back to your women's rights activism. Is it true that you have hardly stood by the women politicians who have stood by you when things were tough, and instead you chose to side with patriarchy?
I am one person who has always supported women. If we look at my time when I was leader of the opposition in Parliament, I had more women chairing committees than any other political party. Look at 2020. Just go and check and see how there were more women from the party that I was leading who were chairing committees than any other person. I'm one person who has always wanted to make sure that, women grow. to the levels that we are in right now. As it is right now, I'm busy mentoring the younger ones, because we are saying there will come a time where some of us are old and we are gone, and we need those younger ones to take over from us. And even in Parliament right now, I'll be calling them, do this, do that. You presented well, but go and register, with so you must have a degree, and. So I try to mentor them. I am one person who has always supported women, but unfortunately, I'm one person who has never been supported by women. What happened in 2018? If you look at what happened after the elections in 2008, all the men ran away. I remained holding the fort. When Harvest House was turned into a refugee camp, when people were coming from rural areas with broken limbs, when people had those shattered, backs, when people died, I went and buried them single-handed. All men went underground. I remained at Harvest House holding the fort. I am the one who went to Sharm el-Sheikh during the African Union summit, where it was decided that an inclusive government must be formed in this country. I am the one who went there to tell our story, not a man. So I'm one person who has always supported men, and I've always made sure that women are elevated to those levels. But women disregarded all that. When in 2018, when our late president passed on, may his soul rest in peace, women disregarded that one. I was more experienced. One, I'm the one who fought when things were tough. What I did. It doesn't matter when you're a woman, whether you're more qualified or experienced. Women will disregard that and go for a man. And this is what they did. But I'm one person who is always supportive of women. I carry them with me. But they don't want to work with me when things are tough. They want to go the other direction. Even if they know they are wrong in doing that, they'll still go there. They go where the wind is blowing. Even if the wind is blowing the wrong direction, it is not the right thing to do. As women, we must learn to stand by each other, even when things are tough.
Correct. Thank you, Doc. Let's look at this cause that is so close to your heart. As a cancer patient, during your time as Deputy Prime Minister, why didn't you push for a cancer center where cancer patients can get subsidized treatment?
First of all, I would like to say that I was the first person in the leadership to come out in the open that I have cancer. It was a taboo for people to tell others that they have cancer, but I came out in the open. When people were speculating, I said, yes, I have breast cancer. But it doesn't mean that I will die. I am the very person who started advocating that there be cancer treatment. Okay. Cabinet started talking about buying cancer machines, buying cancer medicines, because I had pushed that. Okay. So I've always been pushing that, and I am still doing it as I speak right now. Okay. You will see things happening right now. This is why we are saying at the moment we've got 2 hospitals which have got cancer units, public hospitals. Yes, there are so many private, but public is Mpilo and Pararenyato. And we're saying these 2 must be fully equipped so that a person would rather travel from Binga or from Beitbridge to Mpilo for treatment than for them to travel from Beitbridge or Mpilo to South Africa, to India or to the UK. So we are saying cancer treatment must be available here in Zimbabwe so that some of us don't go to the UK for treatment. All of us must be treated here. And mark my words, we are fighting so that at least by the end of this year, we want to make sure that these 2 hospitals are functioning fully and that all of us are being treated here, we are being checked here. This is what I'm pushing for. This is my vision, and I want to make sure that I follow it through until it happens.
Okay, thank you. As we wrap up, Doc, how do you reconcile going back to work with a person who tried to burn you alive in a hut at Changirais homestead and later on campaigning for him in 2023?
In politics, it is said, you do not have permanent friends and permanent enemies.
Okay.
So I don't have permanent enemies. You can be my enemy today, and tomorrow you will be my best friend. Okay. And this is the attitude that we must carry, to say in politics, we must not personalize issues when it comes to politics. Politics mustn't be something that is personal. We are fighting for everybody. We are fighting for one cause. We are not fighting for ourselves. And because we are fighting for everybody, I cannot begrudge somebody because they did this to me, some time ago. I will not do that, because that shouldn't be my focus. My focus is to make sure that collectively we fight for Zimbabweans so that Zimbabweans have a better life. and I will continue fighting for Zimbabweans until I go 6 feet under.
Okay. In 2023, did you endorse any of those women presidential candidates?
2023, I was a member of another political party. So you cannot endorse a female candidate from another party when you are a member of another party. How does that happen? You know, you'll be defeating your own cause because you are campaigning for your own presidential candidate in your own political party. So that is what we're focusing on. We're focusing on our party so that our party wins. That's all we're focusing on. So there is no ways. And I was a presidential candidate in 2018.
Okay.
Did women, rally behind me? Okay. But against all odds, I pride myself because I came third. Against all odds, number 3. Wow. And I had members of parliament in that parliament who were championing things. Even if there were few, there were like 100 of them because I had fire bombs in that parliament.
Wow, interesting. Okay, a few words to the African women, politicians, aspirants who are listening to you.
What I would like to say is that as politicians, we must learn that it shouldn't be it shouldn't be about ourselves as individuals. It should be about the people that we are fighting for. It should be about Zimbabweans. It should be about people in your own country. Because as politicians, we are fighting for a better life for all. We want to make sure that people have jobs, people have, food onto their tables, they have good hospitals, good clinics. We want to make sure that women are not dying while giving birth. We want to make sure that girl children go to school. We want to make sure that women are empowered so that they grow their businesses. As you know that, our countries are highly informalized and women are in the informal sector, but they are not being supported. And I would like to say that my PhD thesis was the informal sector and the empowerment of women. And I advocated for the establishment of a women's bank, which was going to cater for women's bank needs, so that women are not asked for collateral when they go to look for money, so that they're able to have startup capital to grow their businesses. And I would like to say that as women in Africa, let us unite. Let us learn to speak with one voice. Let us learn to support each other. Let us learn that when we are fighting for one cause, it must be that one cause. And what that one cause must be to make sure that we all fight so that every Zimbabwean, so that every woman, every girl, every boy, every man have a better life.
Oh, by the way, I forgot to ask, who is your favorite female politician in Africa?
My favorite female politician in Africa, I used to love Mama Winnie Mandela. She was my favorite, and she's the one who inspired me most because she was a fighter. And hence the reason why some of us, got this fighting spirit to say in life you need to fight for whatever you want. If you don't fight for it, you will not get it.
Okay. So who is the current favorite?
The current favorite? Oh my current favorite is Madame Selif Johnson.
Oh, I love you.
Of Liberia. She's my mother. I visited her once. She's a very powerful woman. Very powerful woman, and she's been standing by our side as women. So she's always going to be my mentor.
Wow. Interesting. There you have it, Africa. This was Dr. Thokozani Khupe. She's a powerhouse. Very strong-willed, firm, assertive, name it. Thank you so much, Doc, for gracing our show.
Thank you so very much, Africa.
Until we meet next time, cheers.